What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in. I want to have a discussion with you guys. Something that's been on my mind, and hopefully something that's going to come to fruition pretty soon with the Apple event approaching, hopefully within the next month or so. I know there has been talk about a new iPad Pro. There was mention of a newer iPad mini, but we haven't seen anything concrete just yet. But I've really been thinking about this for the last couple years, is when are we going to see an iPad mini Pro? And to have this discussion today, I want to take you down memory lane, take you back to 2012, Christmas of 2012. I'll never forget. My wife got me this original iPad mini for Christmas. It was like probably the best Christmas of my adulthood because I think that same year I actually bought her the MacBook Air. So that classic MacBook Air with the Apple symbol that lights up. Man, I hope Apple brings that back. But anyway, the original iPad mini. So this is the 32 gig model. Still got this original box. This was like my favorite device of all time at the time. It's just, the iPad has always been amazing to me. And I actually now have the iPad Pro, the 11-inch. And you guys know about this. I've had this for the last few years. I think I had this from 2018 when it came out. It has been phenomenal. I love this thing. This is like my favorite piece of tech right now. But I've always had a soft spot for the smaller iPads. Let me see if I power this thing up. This thing is going to be super slow now. I know it's almost like 10 years old. I rocked with it for a long time. Then I passed it down to my daughter. She used it for a couple years. And then it got to the point where it was just like unusable. So I had bought her a newer iPad that she's been using for like the last 2 years. But we never got rid of this thing. It just holds value in my heart because it was such a thoughtful and wonderful gift. And yeah, I just feel like this is gonna just stay in the family. So we'll have that fire up just to see how it functions here almost 10 years later, just for laughs. But anyway, the iPad mini Pro. So my question is, what do you want to see in the iPad mini Pro if they were to release this thing? You know, let me see if I can log in here. So if they were to release an iPad mini Pro, I love the body of this one. I like the form factor. I think they can shrink the bezels down. I would like for them to keep a fingerprint reader here. This is iconic to me. I don't know why Apple ever went away from this. The home button to me is just iconic. Like, why get rid of that? So I would say keep that on the iPad mini Pro, but obviously you want a better camera so you can do your face unlock and whatnot. But they can keep the same body style, just shrink the bezels down. That'll increase the screen. I'm definitely okay with an OLED screen. It doesn't have to be the mini LED that everybody's been talking about. I really don't see why we have to switch to that technology just yet. I don't see the huge advantage of that just yet. Maybe it's a little more cost efficient for them to switch to that technology. I don't know, but to me, OLED is the way to go. So if they put an OLED panel for the Pro, I want the quad speakers, and I think that's always been lacking on the iPad mini, where they just have a firing speaker. I think they have two now on the latest mini, the two firing speakers. This one here, the original, only had just a housing, but it only sound only came out of the one side. So I think they can go with the quad speakers, lesser bezels, an OLED screen, and Apple Pencil support, right? I really wish Apple would figure out a way, and I don't know if this is a copyright situation, but a way to have a smaller Apple Pencil that kind of can go inside the device and then detach, similar to the S Pen. Maybe there's some copyright stuff there. Maybe if you guys know about it, you can chime in below. But I just think that would be the ultimate device, right? You have a decent camera on the back. That would be great. If you need to, scan documents, different things like that. A front-facing camera, I would have it on the side somewhere. So that way it's better for like Zoom calls and when you have to have your doctor's appointments and things like that, especially with today's way of life with COVID. So it'd be nice to have that camera here, like on the side bezel, and while you have it in horizontal mode. But yeah, obviously a better processor. Now, does it have to be M1 processing power? I mean, it'd be nice, but I also want it to be an affordable device. I don't want an iPad mini that's gonna cost $1,000, right? So maybe a step down from the M1. Just have a different mobile chip in here, like the 14 processor or whatever processor they're on right now. But I think that would be the ultimate device. I know there's talks about the folding iPhone. I mean, if they went that route, I guess that would just cannibalize the iPad mini, right? We just wouldn't need an iPad mini anymore, especially with other companies having like the foldables that'll fold out to like 8-inch screens. If Apple's going to do something like that, then that means it's going to take the place of this, which I would be okay with, having a foldable iPhone that basically turns into an iPad mini. Now that I'd be willing to pay $1,000 for, but I know it would cost way more than that. We're probably talking close to $2,000 since that's what Samsung is charging. And I love that new Huawei folding phone as well, the Huawei Mate X2 or whatever it is. I think that's where we're headed for the future. But if they are going to release an iPad mini, I would love for it to be a Pro. You guys hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about the iPad mini Pro. Do you care at this point? I know it's hard for me to get excited about newer tech when all they're talking about is like mini LED. Like what? I need more. I need something more to be brought to the table in order for me to even consider upgrading my iPad Pro. Because this thing has been great from 2018. It still runs like a champ. No hiccups whatsoever. I love it. But as far as like a newer iPad mini, let's hope for the mini Pro. Let me see what's this thing doing. Let's see how long this takes to load up the Best Buy website. As you can see, this thing is this is like painfully slow. This is what happens 10 years later with a device. It finally loaded it up. Well, kinda. But I mean, this thing really, we got our money's worth out of it. I'll say that. I had it for a couple years. My daughter rocked it for a couple years. We definitely got our money out of it. And it's time to retire it. Maybe I'll just use it for like Apple Music now or something. Or if you guys have suggestions, let me know what I should do with it. Other than trash it, don't say anything ridiculous like that. Like I said, I'm not getting rid of this thing. Sentimental value. But yeah, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. iPad mini Pro, should it happen? Do you care? It's your boy Yella. Until the next one. Peace.